All right, question 1. Which of the answers is equal to the following expression? So 5n cubed plus 5 minus negative 3n cubed plus 1. So in this case, we are subtracting polynomials. That first polynomial is going to stay exactly as it is, but without the brackets. So we have 5n cubed plus 5. Now, remember when we're subtracting polynomials, it's almost like we're distributing that negative sign. Okay, so all the signs in my second polynomial are going to flip signs, right? So we have a negative here, and we have a positive here. And because they flip, now this is going to be a positive and then a negative, okay? And here we're still going to have my 3n cubed, and here I'm going to have my 1, okay? So before it was a negative 3n cubed, now it's a positive 3n cubed. Here was a plus 1, now it's a minus 1. All right, now, what are my like terms? Here I have 5n cubed. Do I have anything else with n cubed in there? And here I have my 3n cubed. Okay, so these two are like terms. They have the same variables, and those variables are raised to the same exponents. Do I have any other like terms? Well, here I have my constant. Here is 5, and here is minus 1. Great. So 5 plus 3 is 8, and my variable stays as it is. We don't touch the exponent. Okay, I just put the coefficients together. And then for the constants, I have 5 and minus 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. So my answer is 8n cubed plus 4, and that's going to be A. All right, question 2. Which of the answers is equal to the following expression? 9x to the 8 plus 6x to the 5 divided by 3x cubed. So in this case, we are dividing a polynomial by a monomial. So the first step we have to do is to split up that fraction. In my numerator, I have 2 terms, so I'm going to have 2 fractions, right? Because I'm splitting my fraction term by term. So I should have 2 fractions here. And in each fraction, we're going to have 1 term in my numerator, so 9x to the 8, and 6x to the 5. And the denominator for both fractions is exactly the same. It's the same as the original one. And here, because I had a plus sign, I'm going to put a plus sign between the fractions. Okay? Now, I'm going to divide the coefficients, and if the variables are the same on top and on the bottom, I could subtract their exponents, right? Because they have the same base. And remember from our laws of exponents that a to the n over a to the m is equal to the an minus m, right? Don't forget that law of exponent here. So, divide the coefficients. We get 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 8 minus 3 is 5, plus 6 divided by 3 is 2, 5 minus 3 is 2, and that's the exponent of x, okay? So the answer for question 2 is 3x to the 5 plus 2x squared, and that is B. Okay, question 3. What polynomial represents the area of the rectangle shown below? So we have a diagram of a rectangle. We've got the base, and we've got the height. And we know that the area of the rectangle is base times height, right? So we'll just fill that in. What is my base? It's 4x squared minus 2. And what is my height? It is 3x plus 5. Okay? Now, remember when we're distributing, well, when we're multiplying polynomials, we gotta distribute every term to every term. Let me make that a little bit clearer here. Every term here to every term there, yeah? And we're gonna be multiplying the coefficients and adding the exponents if the variables have the same base, right? Remember our laws of exponents. If we have a to the n times a to the m, that's a to the n plus m. So if they have the same base, we can add their exponents. Okay, so 4x squared times 3x, we multiply the coefficients, that's 12. And here we have x squared, here we have x, so we can use this law of exponent here. They have the same base. We're going to add their exponents. Remember, if there's nothing written, it's like it has an exponent of 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay? Now 4x squared times 5, we're going to multiply those numbers together, right? 4 times 5 is 20. Here I have x squared. Here I don't have any x's, so there's nothing to really do with the exponent, so it's just 20x squared. We just leave this x squared as it is. Okay, minus 2 times positive 3x to the 1, so minus 2 times 3, we're going to multiply the numbers together. That's going to be minus 6. Here there's no x, here there is an x, so we're going to write x, and we're not going to touch the exponent, okay? And last but not least, minus 2 times positive 5, that's minus 10. And there's no like terms here, so there's no need to kind of combine any terms. Actually, we can't even do it if we wanted to. So this is my final answer, okay? And that is D. Okay, question 4. So we've got 4 parts. Let's start where we normally would start at A here, right? So we're adding polynomials, and then we're subtracting this third polynomial. So when we add polynomials, we don't change any signs. My first polynomial here stays exactly the same. We just remove the brackets. This second polynomial keeps all the same signs. So here was a positive 8x. It's still going to be positive 8x. Here this is minus 2x squared. It's still minus 2x squared. Okay? This last polynomial here, because we're subtracting it, we're going to flip all of the signs. All right? So here was minus 5x squared. Now it's plus 5x squared. This was plus 2x. Now it's minus 2x. And here was minus 10. Now it is plus 10. All right, what are my like terms? I've got my x squared here. I've got my minus 2x squared and a plus 5x squared. Here I've got minus x. Here I have plus 8x. And here I have minus 2x. And last but not least, all on its own is this plus 10. So we put the coefficients together. Here we have like a coefficient of 1 kind of, right? Same thing here. So 1 minus 2 is minus 1, plus 5 is positive 4. Here we've got minus 1, plus 8 is 7, minus 2 is 5, so plus 5x, and plus 10. That is the answer for A. Okay? Now, B. We are dividing a polynomial by a monomial, so step 1 is to split up that fraction term by term, where every term in the numerator is going to have, every numerator is only going to have one term. So 20x10 divided by 5x5 minus, right, because we have a minus here, so we have a minus here, okay? Same thing with the plus later on, all right? So here we're going to have minus 15x to the 8 divided by 5x to the 5 plus 25x7 over 5x5. Great. Now we're going to divide the coefficients, subtract the exponents of the same variables, right? And in this case, all the variables are the same, so that works out well for us. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. 10 minus 5 is 5. Minus 15 divided by 5 is 3. And 8 minus 5 is 3. Plus 25 divided by 5 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. And that's the answer for B. All right, C. Now we're taking a monomial and we are distributing it to every term, right? We're multiplying these two polynomials. We got to distribute this guy to all of the terms, okay? So 2x times 6y, the coefficients get multiplied together. We get 12. The variables are different in this case, so we're just going to write them side by side, xy, plus 2 times 3 is 6. X times x squared, we're going to add the exponents together. We get x cubed. Okay, 2x times 5x is going to be plus 10x squared, right? We multiplied the coefficients, we added the exponents, and then 2x times minus 7 is minus 14x. Now, this is not done yet. We have to rearrange this from biggest to smallest exponents. So we're going to start here with the 6x cubed plus 10x squared plus 12xy minus 14x. Okay, and this is my answer for 4C. Okay. And last but not least here, we've got for D. And same as before, we're going to distribute every term to every term. Okay? So x times minus 2x is minus 2x squared. X times 10 is plus 10x. 5 times minus 2x is minus 10x. And 5 times 10 is 50. Okay? Now in this case, this 10x and minus 10x are like terms. And 10 minus 10 is 0, right? So this is just going to come out to 0x, and 0 times x is just 0. So we could just cross these out. They cancel each other out. My final answer is minus 2x squared plus 50. And that is my answer for 4D. All right, last question. The prestigious Hum Institute of Mathematics is closing soon. Bruno and Rosé want to use part of the land to build the Academy for Pagano's teachings, or APT. The APT will have a triangular area of 6x squared plus 3x meters squared and a base of 6x meters. So the question is asking what polynomial represents the height, and what is the height if x equals 3? So what do we know about the area of a triangle? We know that base times height divided by 2 is going to give me the area of that triangle, right? But the question is asking for the height. So we want height all on its own on this side of the equation. We want h equals something, right? So the first thing we can do to start getting rid of this b and this 2 here, right, is just multiply both sides here by 2, okay? And what that's going to do is, because I have 2 here and I have a 2 in the denominator, we know 2 divided by 2 is 1. We can just cross those out, okay? And that's going to tell me that base times height is equal to area of the triangle times 2. Great. Now, we're getting a little closer to just having h on this left side, but we also have this b here. So how do we get rid of that b? Well, in this case, I'm going to divide both sides by b. Okay, and we know base divided by base is just 1, so we could just cross that out here. And that's going to tell me h is equal to the area of the triangle times 2 divided by the base. And we know what the area is, right? The area of the triangle, and we know what the base is, right? We have those from over here, right? So we can plug those in. The area of the triangle is 6x squared plus 3x. We're going to multiply that by 2. And then we're going to divide by the base. And we know the base is 6x. Okay? Now to multiply this polynomial on top here, we're going to distribute that 2. So we're going to get 12x squared plus 6x, right? We multiply the number by the constant by the coefficients, right? And at the bottom, we still have 6x. Now, remember, if we have x with no exponent, that's almost like we have exponent 1, right? So let's split up this fraction here, term by term. We're going to have 12x squared divided by 6x to the 1 plus 6x to the 1 divided by 6x to the 1. Okay? Divide the coefficients. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. We don't have to write an exponent of 1. Okay? That's just extra work. Okay, here we have something divided by itself, right? Anything divided by itself is 1. Okay, if you want to do it step by step, that also works. We know 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, so that's going to give you times x to the 0. And x to the 0 is 1, so that's like multiplying by 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so if you want to do, show all your steps and verify that it works, yes, it's still 1. Okay, so this is the answer for A. This is the polynomial that represents the height. Okay? And B, what is the height if x equals 3? So all you're going to do in this case is look at the polynomial that represents your height and replace all of your x's with 3's. And in this case, 2x plus 1, there's only one x right here. So we're going to replace that with a 3. So we have 2 times 3 plus 1. That is going to be 6 plus 1, which is 7 meters. This is your answer for B.